How to fake Lego stop motion animation. Take a look at these two clips. Which one do you think is real stop motion and which one is video that was manipulated to look like stop motion? You probably said the one on the left is the real stop motion, and that's actually wrong. Both of them are fake. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what I did to manipulate these actual videos to look like stop motion. So I'm sure this is probably a technique that's already been used, but the idea is really simple as far as how I move the minifigures, and in this case, the car. I simply took this little corkscrew, or whatever it is, little wooden stick, taped it to the back of these minifigures, and in this case, the car, and used that to move them around. Then also, while I had the camera set up, I got a background plate, meaning just a still image of the background, which I then was able to put behind the video while editing so that I could mask out the stick in each frame to make it look as if the minifigures and the cars are moving on their own. Also, the second time I tried this with the car, I thought if I got a green screen stick that I could just key the green out and then I wouldn't have to do the masking. So I painted this stick green, and as you can see, I tried it, but it didn't work. Maybe it's because the paint didn't really work. Maybe some sort of real green screen stick, which I don't know where I would have gotten, but maybe something better would have worked, but I still had to mask it out. Now let's talk about why the video on the right looks so fake and why the one on the left is actually convincing. The main reason is because of motion blur. When you're doing stop motion, there's no blur at all because you're taking everything in still photos and then putting it all together, so there's no natural blur. But this looks like real video and isn't convincingly fake because there's motion blur. And this one looks like real stop motion and is convincing because there's no motion blur. So how did I do that? Well, it's really simple. It's not anything in post-production. It's just when you actually film it, all I had to do was bump up the shutter speed because that's the thing that affects how much motion blur there is. A super low shutter speed will give a lot of motion blur, and a high shutter speed will be able to capture everything really still. So now, just by making that one adjustment of bumping up the shutter speed, we've gone from this blurry, unconvincing footage to this. Now, the next thing, which is actually probably just as important as the shutter speed, is the frame rate. This video is in 30 frames per second, which is pretty standard for normal video. But stop motion, particularly Lego stop motion, is usually in much lower frame rates, such as 15 frames per second or 24. So here you can see the incredible difference when the frame rate is dropped to 15 frames per second. So that's pretty much it for the basics of how this works. And here you can see the final video, which, to me at least, definitely is pretty convincing as far as looking like real stop motion. That's it for the video. If you liked it, be sure to drop a like, subscribe for more, drop a comment below. I like to take suggestions. If you have a suggestion for a video and I actually do it, I'll definitely shout you out in that video. So drop a comment if you want, subscribe if you want. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.